noise. Hold up. We making noise. Actually, I made some noise, but
Let me fix my cap here.
that's all right. We them boys. We're back. Episode 15. Another week of football. Wild card round is over. Now the real deal is setting in. More so, Evan, how are we feeling this week? Second round of playoffs.
Not great after the wild card round. I think I got in my head a little bit too much. Got way too analytical, and it came down to simple mathematics. 6-0 in the overs. We usually don't tap into the totals, but I mean, we could have blindly bet all the overs and they would have hit. Or they might have been 5-1, 5-1 or 6-0, depending on where you got the number. But yeah, man, just a crazy weird week. I mean, I wasn't surprised by any of the results. I guess I'm just like surprised at myself that I was so bad last week. I was 2-4 in the wild card round, not up to snuff. Justin was 3-3. So now our overall record sitting at, for me, 60, 51-2. Justin 54, 53-2.
Dang.
I mean, look, man, it was a weird week for me. I told you I kind of was going in blind a little bit, didn't really know how to feel. Playoffs
You
are
hated
different.
everything.
And I hated all these games. I mean, let's start with the first one. Niners dominating the Seahawks in the second half, 41-23. The game was closer than I think the final score indicated, but the Niners just were able to pull away, and Seahawks plus 9.5 was not the play. Niners minus 9.5 was the play. Good looks there for you. In the nightcap on Saturday, Jags over the Chargers.
Woo!
What a collapse that was, and it was great because we were both on Jags money line. I live bet Jaguars plus 1,700, 5 to pay out 90. That was a nice win. Just put a couple bucks on it.
And you were near Charger territory.
I was in enemy territory. We came out with the win. It's all about Duval. What were your thoughts on that game?
I didn't know how to feel. As soon as I realized that Trevor Lawrence threw 3 interceptions, I'm like, it's over. It's absolutely over. And then he threw another one.
Yep.
4 interceptions, and you come back and win it down 27 after 4 interceptions. I don't know if that's more miraculous on Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson, and that offense for the Jags, or worse on the crumbled ability of that Chargers defense.
It's tough for me because I agree. Like, I think there was some genius on behalf of Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence. Like, they had to be perfect, and they were. But at the same time, you look at Brandon Staley and just the lack of run calls in the second half. They just did not have any real identity all season long, and it showed in that game. When you are unable to control the ball for a prolonged period of time, it's just a sense of a team that is lacking a bit of leadership, and I just haven't trusted Staley's leadership all season long. He's staying as head coach. I'm shocked.
I am too. I couldn't
especially
believe
when
it.
a coach like Sean Payton is out there, because I really think Sean Payton would unlock Herbert, but maybe they get an OC in there that changes the dynamic for Herbert. I mean, we've seen it with Joe Lombardi. His passing scheme is short, quick. Herbert has way too much talent to just settle 10 yards and in. So we'll see if things change in L.A., but shout out to the Jags, man. That's a great win, and way to turn that franchise around. I mean, that's what a guy like Trevor Lawrence can do for a team. He's an all-world talent, and he's going to probably bring a Super Bowl to Jacksonville one day. He's just that kind of guy.
That makes him 10-8 technically on the season.
Unreal.
Compared
From
to
3-14
in
to
the
now
first pick last
going
year,
to the divisional round. I mean,
we'll see how it goes, but with arguably not even like, oh my gosh, this is over, but like still a slight chance to win this game.
No, I 100% agree. I 100% agree. I mean, they played Kansas City tough the first time. I don't expect anything less, especially now that they're playing better football. All right, on to Sunday's games, though. Kicking it off at 1, Dolphins at Bills. Bills skating by against Skylar Thompson, 34-31. Josh Allen with the turnover issues. We were both on the Bills minus 13.5. I honestly was so comfortable with that game. And then as you're seeing it play out, you're like, holy crap, this isn't going to hit. It was 17-0 at first. So I'm like, wow, am I just a genius or am I just that smart? And
it just crumbled.
It just crumbled. That defense could not hold up, and it doesn't help when your quarterback is literally handing the ball to the other team.
In your area more so, like I was like, Skylar Thompson's not bad, but they're being handed the ball at pretty much the Buffalo 40 almost every time.
Right, and honestly, Miami should have won that game. They had several drop passes. Skylar Thompson actually made some good throws. Jalen Waddle, I think, had 2 or 3 drops. The clock management on Mike McDaniel's behalf was horrific.
No timeouts.
And, right, you just had no timeouts at the end. And really, in a game like that where everything is stacking up against you in Miami, you're without your starting quarterback, you're without your backup quarterback. You gotta have some luck like that. You gotta have some turnover magic. They should have pulled out that win. I'm gonna give a little credit to Buffalo for being able to outlast Miami with all the mistakes they made, but they got to get those shored up quickly before they play Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Say no. It's not time to mess around.
Right.
It's one and done.
So in the 4:30 game on Sunday, Giants at Vikings. Giants winning 31-24. What a performance by Daniel Jones. We have to give all the credit to him. Saquon Barkley only had 9 rushes. If I told you Saquon Barkley had 9 rushes, you would not expect the Giants to win the game.
2 TDs, though.
He did, but still, I mean, you would think it was ground and pound. It was, lean on 26. They leaned on number 8, and Daniel Jones got the job done.
I thought it was over, and the Vikings were going to march and win as soon as Darius Slayton dropped that pass.
Yeah.
I was like, it's over.
It felt like there was going to be some stupid luck, and that's why I picked the Vikings, because honestly, when we were on here last week, I said, everything is telling me to go Giants here, but it's the Vikings. This is just their brand. It's just get super lucky, play like garbage, and then they somehow win the game. I'm so happy the Giants won for that reason, because finally we don't have to worry about the Vikings being this fraudulent team that's now playing for a chance to go to the NFC Championship game. But it's just annoying because as a Lions fan, this really feels like it could be us, and it sucks when you're kind of just sitting and watching at home. You're like, man, I think we have a better football team than the Giants, but yet we're on the couch eating potato chips, and they're going to play at Philadelphia for a chance to go to the NFC Championship game. It sucks, but that's just the reality we live in.
We would have had to go to the Bay, though.
We would have had to go to the Bay, but if maybe you beat Minnesota earlier in the year, like if you had 10 wins, I'm pretty sure we would have been the 6th seed. So
play Minnesota again or the Giants,
right?
Beat both of them
would have been a little bit of a different story. Oh well, it is what it is. On to the Sunday night game, though. What a game that was!
That was crazy.
Tyler Huntley, I thought he played out of his mind. Unfortunately, that fumble.
The Ravens lost that game.
That fumble was so demoralizing. Ravens losing 24-17. I was on Ravens plus 8.5. I felt really good about that bet. That was one of the few bets that the only bets that I felt good about, honestly, was, well, I'm going to say Bucks, Bills. Those ones I felt like kind of good about. But Ravens plus 8.5, I thought that was a really sneaky play, because I think everyone expected the Bengals to kind of flex their muscles a little bit and be dominant. But it's the AFC North. These teams know each other, and
they just played the week before.
They just played the week before. So more often than not, that's going to be a close game, and it was. And quite frankly, kind of like the Bills, the Bengals got lucky to get a win too, because
those teams, yeah, exactly.
Baltimore was on the 2-yard line. They were 2 yards away from taking the lead late in the fourth quarter, and then a fumble return touchdown just completely destroyed their hopes and dreams. And it sucks because Tyler Huntley played an awesome game. I thought he looked really good.
The Ravens and Dolphins lost those games. The Bills and Bengals didn't win those games.
That's 100% correct.
That's what we talked about after.
Speaking about a team that did not lose a game, they absolutely destroyed the other team, Cowboys at Bucks.
Oh, gosh.
The Bucks just looked broken. I can't believe, we fell into the trap. We fell into the trap. Bucks money line was just Vegas was just floating it out there, and we fell right into it.
Anytime I pick Brady this year, he let me down.
I should have known.
It hurts.
Cowboys 31-14. We don't need to get into it. It hurts. We'll strip the Band-Aid off and let's move on.
We'll see Brady in Vegas next year. It's okay. No worries.
Well, there it is. Those were the wild card games. Once again, 60, 51-2 is my overall record. Justin is 54, 53-2.
I hate that.
And we are on to the divisional round. We got some great matchups. I think this is going to be a really fun weekend. It's usually the best weekend of the football season because you get 4 games, and usually all 4 are really entertaining.
And I think they will be. The way teams have been playing, I think it's great. All right. Game 1 is the Jags in Kansas City. The Chiefs finally getting their playoff appearance, obviously, because they got a bye. It'll be interesting to see what happens because this could potentially be their only playoff game in Kansas City, depending on how the situation goes, which is kind of crazy. So we'll see how that goes, but it is Chiefs minus 8.5 at home. I was really deliberating this game all day, if that's the word you want to use.
No, yeah, that's a good verb.
I didn't like it because I'm like this could easily be like a nice little easy win, but it also could be, a tight loss.
Right.
I hate this game. I hate this game.
Well, let me see if I can help you out here a little bit.
Yeah,
so,
see what your thoughts are. I always love to see your thoughts because sometimes you sway for a change in my life.
I kind of had a read on this one initially, and I've stuck with it. So, Kansas City is just terrible at covering spreads. They're 2-5-1 against the spread at home, 6-10-1 overall. You couple that with Doug Peterson's ability to show up in playoff games. He is now 6-0 against the spread in his career, following last week's cover against the Chargers. We talked about it in the recap, but the Jags are a much different team now than when they played Kansas City the first time. Kansas City won by 10, 27-10, or 27-17. Mm-hmm. But there's something different about the Jacksonville team now than there was then. And I just love what I'm seeing from the Jags. They play relentless. They play gutsy. I think Trevor Lawrence is an all-world talent. Like I said, he is so good. And he just has that it factor that I think you need in the AFC right now. Because you look at the quarterback talent. Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Lawrence, Herbert. I mean, that's arguably your top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And they're all in the AFC. So you got to have special talent. We know Lawrence has that. You look at me and you're like, Evan, Kansas City off a bye, Kansas City with Andy Reid, Mahomes, Kelsey, I get all that. But I'm going to be playing the side with a team that has a playoff game under their belt. They're playing with house money. They got a legitimate franchise quarterback. And, quite frankly, that backdoor cover is always in play. So I'm going Duval, 8.5,
Again.
Cover the spread. Duval, Jags plus 8.5. Let's go T-Law, baby. Get it home. I hope they win this game. I do, but I'm going to take the points here because it's Kansas City. You can't really doubt them to lose this game, but I think 8.5 is a good number. I'm hopping on it.
Everything he said is true. Because Jacksonville's 5-1 against the spread in its past 6 games, man. And they've been an underdog in 4 of those 6 games and gone a perfect 4-0. Everything you said. Everything this man said is absolute truth. In Kansas City, not against the spread. They've only covered 2 of their last 6 games.
They're not good at covering spread. I mean, they win. They're awesome at winning games. They just don't cover.
They're 11-1 straight up against poor passing defenses. One crazy thing from the last time they played is turnovers. The Chiefs had 3 turnovers the last time they played the Jags in Kansas City. 2 fumbles, 1 interception. I don't think there's going to be 3 turnovers this time.
Probably not.
I think if they really clean it up. Interesting things will be to see how will Jacksonville's pass rush do against the Kansas City line. Kansas City's red zone defense. How's it gonna stay I don't want to say, like, I guess withstand the Jags, because Trevor Lawrence can dice you up real quick. That man's got an arm like, I mean, no other, honestly, as you could say, compared to other guys in the league.
Right.
But like you said, the advantage of coming off of a playoff win already, and in kind of the fashion you did that, can be kind of motivating. So it's interesting how to see how much, like, game plan wise, how aggressive will Jacksonville be coming into this game. When I first picked this game, and all the past couple days, and this morning, I had Jags plus 8.5. And I switched it. And I picked the Chiefs minus 8.5. I think the Chiefs win by 10.
All right.
I don't doubt for a second that this could be a field goal game either way. Jags aren't blowing them out, but I don't doubt the Jags could win this game or cover. But I'm going Chiefs minus 8.5. Call me crazy. Call me crazy.
I'm not going to call you crazy.
You can't ever call me crazy again after that Texans-Colts game.
No.
You can never call me crazy.
I'm not going to call you crazy. I mean, you're betting on a Super Bowl caliber team. I mean, I like Jacksonville a lot, but let's call it what it is. They aren't a Super Bowl team yet. They just aren't.
Subtle fact for you. Stat, -5. That's Jacksonville's turnover margin the last weeks. And their come-from-behind win against Los Angeles was marked the first time in NFL playoff history that a team won a game with -5 turnover margin.
They're gritty, man.
They're invincible. Is that your thought process?
They can do it in the craziest of circumstances, and unfortunately the Chargers are one of those teams that will allow you to do that as well because, let's put it frank, there's not a ton of teams that choke like the Chargers do. But it's not a bad pick with Kansas City. I do fear their record against the spread and their ability to cover these big numbers because I think, you know, if it was Kansas City -4, everyone's going to bet Kansas City. But when you get a number like this, you're thinking, I mean, I'm still getting
more
Kansas
room for the
City.
Jags.
Like, yeah, it's just one of those numbers where I think you look at it, and it's kind of like for me, at 8.5, I know it's the exact same number, but Ravens, Bengals, where these teams kind of know each other a little bit. They played earlier in the year, and now you're seeing it in the playoffs. I just don't necessarily believe that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to stray from their trend all season long, which is not covering spreads. We'll see, though. I don't think it's a bad pick.
I could be wrong, but, man, if I could be wrong about one game, I hope it's this one.
I think we both would want to see the Jags.
Oh, all day.
AFC
I would.
Championship.
It'd be the greatest thing ever. Seeing the only team I don't want to win the Super Bowl is the Chiefs. That's it.
Right.
I'll take anybody else. Anybody else in the entire league. Bring them bring them off the bench. Fly them in. I don't care. You can literally bring the Texans or Colts in. I'd rather one of them be here than the Chiefs.
I feel you.
It's unfortunate, but all right. Split decision on game 1.
We'll see how game 2 goes because, honestly, I want to hear your thoughts first. But I have a prop bet that I'm going to play that I kind of want to talk about quickly, and then we can get into the game.
All right. Game 2, onward. Juicy, division rivals. Giants head to Philly. For game 2, it is Eagles -7.5. Things to know. Thoughts on this game? Giants have been playing really well. Eagles are truly the better team, but Hurts be hurt. And it's up and down. He can still get it done, but maybe not in the fashion they're used to. Nick Sirianni, Eagles head coach, man, is 13-2 straight up on the money line as a favorite of -160 to -475, which is crazy. And the Giants are an unfortunate 1-4-1 against the spread in division games.
I think those are their only losses against the spread this season. I believe they're, including the playoff game, I think they're 14-4 on the season against the spread. So their only losses have come within the division.
And they're 4-5 against the spread after a win this season. Nothing's looking good for them, my friend. Things to think about. Can the Eagles establish a run game Maybe keep Hurts a little more safer. How will Daniel Jones go against this Eagles defense that seems to be good at times and then sometimes it's a little off? Third down defense for both teams. That's crucial. 60. This is Hurts' quarterback rating in his first playoff game last year against the Buccaneers. Crazy stat. Let's see how well he does this time around. I think the Eagles are great. Don't doubt that they win, but they've been playing games too close lately. I know they smacked down the Giants maybe a month or so ago, but the Giants are playing smart ball. They trust each other. Not saying they win, but I'm taking the Giants to cover this thing, man. I can't not. After last week,
No, I hear you. And look, the Giants did what I thought they would do last week, which is run the football. Now, they didn't do it through Saquon. They did it through Daniel Jones, but it worked and they got the win. Now, I just explained it in the recap. I picked the Vikings assuming they would just get lucky, but the better football team on Sunday was the New York Football Giants, and they had the recipe to win that game. Now, you get a game against Philadelphia. You know this team. This is a division rival. The Eagles kind of have the Giants' number historically. I mean, I don't think the Giants have really had much success against the Eagles at all as of late. I mean, I know the Giants have been down as a franchise the past 5 seasons, but I can't really remember the last time the Giants beat the Eagles because the Eagles have kind of been a pretty good team for several years now, and I don't really know the last time the Giants walked into Philly and took a win home.
They weren't worried about that because they were too busy winning Super Bowls. Unfortunately, it hurts my soul to say that because it was, of course, they were only against our boy and our team.
Yeah, but
it's just funny. I just thought I'd say that.
It's a soft spot. It's a soft spot.
It is. I'd never been more hurt in that moment. I was hurt when they were down against Atlanta, man, and they came back, and that was the greatest day of my life.
But
going
into this game, you got 2 teams that want to run the football. Daniel Jones and Saquon are obviously going to get their touches. Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts. I don't think Jalen Hurts is 100%, but that shoulder should be a little bit more healed up now to the point where they might be able to use him a little bit more. I'm not saying they do it a ton, but that just goes to show that they probably will run Hurts a little bit more. I mean, it's the playoffs. Everything is on the line. I think they need to lean on Jalen. 5.2, that's the number of yards per carry the Giants average, or that's the number of yards per carry the Giants allow on the season. 4.6 is the yards per carry the Eagles allow. So these are 2 run defenses that aren't great, and both these teams want to run the football. So I think both teams will have success at doing so. The only issue I have is it's at Philadelphia. It's a night game. Those fans are going to be absolutely obnoxious.
It's a Saturday night game?
Yes. And look, Philly, they're 0-4 in their last 4 against the spread. They're 8-9 overall. But something just tells me they're going to get this done. I think everyone's going to be on the Giants. And a weird part of me, I think this is a big number, but a part of me just feels like the Eagles are going to do it, and we're going to be like, okay, the Giants, that wasn't, you had a great season. Focus on getting Daniel Jones some help on the outside, and we'll see you back here next year. I'm going to take the Eagles -7.5.
Man, I'll never learn.
and I just think it's time for the Giants to... I don't know.
Spread their wings and fly home.
I think it is time for the Giants to get a taste of reality a little bit. This Eagles team is not the Vikings. The Eagles have not gotten lucky all season long. And I just think matchup-wise, it doesn't really play into the Giants' favor. They might be able to run the football, but the Eagles have a really good secondary. And the Vikings secondary is horrible, and you're not going to get that soft zone coverage all game long. You're asking Daniel Jones to repeat what he did last week and then some because it's going to be an even tougher task against this defense. So I'm going to take the Eagles -7.5 here. And let me give you this prop because I was doing a little bit of homework,
Juice.
and I was like, all right, we got 4 games, so that's 4 picks for the spread, but I want to throw in a couple more picks because I kind of want to get to 6. And I really liked this prop. Dallas Goedert over 50 or 49.5 receiving yards. Goddard went over 50 receiving yards in 7 of 12 games this season that he played in. The Giants allow 60 receiving yards per game to tight ends and are one of the worst defenses at covering them. TJ Hawkinson had a big game last week. He completely, shout out to the Giants defense and their schematic game plan because they shut down Jefferson, but that left Hawkinson wide open. I think you're going to see something similar with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith if they're going to focus a little bit more on the outside and kind of make Philly funnel through the middle where Goddard should be open. So I'm going to go Goddard over 49.5 receiving yards as a nice prop bet. And like I said, I do think Jalen Hurts runs a little bit more, but I'm not totally convinced that he's 100%. And I think
keep him safe.
Keep him safe, short, simple to the tight end. Goddard is also a great playmaker. So over 49.5 Goddard, Eagles minus 7.5.
I like that.
Those are my picks for this game. And I think it's a good analysis of it too. It's not crazy. 50 yards isn't crazy, especially for one of the best tight ends in the league. So I like that pick a lot.
They should just have Saquon and Sanders just go 1v1. Start the 50, 1 runs.
Penn State versus Penn State right there.
Literally. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one, so we'll see what happens with that. Me and Evan split again.
I'm telling you, I everything is telling me go Giants just because of what's happened, but I think I'm going to make this pick feeling like I made the wrong pick, and then it's going to work out for me.
That's what you felt last week.
It is feeling like the Seahawks. This is feeling like the Seahawks pick, but I don't care.
Hey, we'll see what happens. Either one of us is right now. One of us is going to have a great week, and one of us is going to have a bad week potentially.
It's going to be like that probably. It's probably going to be me making all these bad picks. But
if we both walk in 2-2 next week, or say you do, if you do 6, 3-3, and 2-2, I'm going to laugh so hard.
That's probably what's going to happen.
All right, that's the end of Game 2 picks. On to Game 3. This is one people have been waiting for, but it might be a little underwhelming compared to what we were expecting the way these guys have been playing. But we got Bengals heading to Buffalo. Buffalo minus 5.5 at home. Both teams survived last week.
Yes.
And who's going to survive this week is the question. Or will the teams bounce back, and are we going to have a great show on Sunday? I don't know what to expect. A nice little Sunday afternoon special, primetime, showtime. It ain't primetime, but it might be showtime.
Look, this spread is absolutely absurd. Bills laying 5.5. Are you kidding me? I don't know what it is with this team, but they are getting crazy numbers. And look, I'm beyond sick of picking Buffalo. We talked about in the recap. I cannot stand picking this team. It feels like every time I pick against them, they cover, and every time I pick them, they cannot cover. Meanwhile, the Bengals, they've been tremendous against the spread this year, boasting a 12-5 record. However, they have suffered massive injuries to that offensive line as of late. They just lost Jonah Williams. They had Lyle Collins injured earlier in the year. Those are your 2 starting tackles. They're gone. And last week, they needed the fumble in the jungle to beat Tyler Huntley and the Ravens. I'm sorry.
Fumble.
I get the appeal of Joe Burrow and the concern with Josh Allen, the turnovers, but I think this is a time where the Bills, knowing they need to bring their A game, they need to show up, and they need to get to the AFC Championship game. They bring it. Bengals cannot run the football at all. Weather also calls for the possibility of snow. I think this all favors Buffalo. Public is going to be all over the Bengals, dude. I'm telling you. People are looking at that spread saying, I get Bengals, I get Joe Burrow plus 5.5. Are you kidding me? This team just went to the Super Bowl. Of course I'm going to bet the Bengals. And that's when Vegas gets you. Yeah, the Bills is the pick for me. I don't even think this is super hard for me to pick. And another pick in this game that I love is the under. I think everyone's going to look at these 2 teams under 49.5. They're going to be like, I'm getting Joe Burrow versus Josh Allen. That should be points. Everyone's going to be hammering the over. I think you get under.
49?
Under 49.5. You zig, I zag, baby. Under 49.5. Bills minus 5.5. That is my play.
I think that can happen. You're taking the under, you said?
Yeah,
I
because
think that can happen.
you got Josh Allen, who probably is good for a turnover or two. You got an offensive line with the Bengals that
Probably stopped a bit.
is very decimated. And this is a Bengals team that just has not been able to run the football much at all for the entirety of the season. And the weather. I mean, there's a possibility of snow. I don't know if it will or not, but
It ain't going to affect either team, I don't think.
it's Buffalo.
Personally.
And I don't know. I just think it could because
The snowman's coming to town. Joe
it
Burr,
might slow them
baby.
down, or the Bills might realize, okay, we need to limit Josh Allen's turnovers. Let's try to run the football more. So I think everyone's going to be like, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, this should be a total shootout. I don't think so. I think you get a little bit more of a scrappy game where the Bills win by a touchdown.
Interesting. Everything you're saying is smart, man. Buffalo 7-1 straight up this season at home. They went 3-5 against the spread at home, though. And Cincinnati went an incredible 12-5 against the spread on the season, my friend. But even after last week, all season long, the Bills have had a consistently great scoring offense. Second most points per game, second most points per game at home, second most points over the past 3 games. La, la, la. How will their offense bounce back? Both kind of, but more so the Bills. We don't know. Like you said, can the Bengals line protect Burrow? Because it's one thing to have a run game, but if you don't have Burrow, that's a huge factor.
Right.
Like the game's over. If you don't have Burrow, it's over. You don't have enough. You don't have a guy behind him that can do anything. You don't have the run game's okay, but it's not good enough to like carry you at certain moments. I mean, it could, but not entirely. Not in this game. People are just talking about Orchard Park in general. Can the Bengals keep it together? I don't know if they've ever played there. I don't think so. I don't think they've ever played there. Stat, my friend, 3. That is how many turnovers Buffalo's committed in each of its past 3 games. Since the start of 2022, my friend, Cincinnati's gone 6-1 when forcing multiple turnovers and a perfect 4-0 when finishing with 3 or more takeaways. This game's going to be up in the air. Real talk, this is an interesting and very difficult game to pick. But I still got to pick the Bengals. I think it's a close one. Either way, I don't think this is a beatdown. I agree with Evan. That's why it's a smart pick for him to add that under 49.5 on there because I think it's going to be probably like, within the someone's 17 to like 24-ish range, maybe 27.
I got 27-20.
Okay, that's what I was
feeling like.
That's the distance.
I mean, it's a couple points under 49.5, so I'm kind of a little close, but I do think it's kind of a grinded out game, and I don't fault you for picking the Bengals. I think you look at the Bengals overall. No, I don't, because you look at the Bengals overall, and I think they have a better quarterback, honestly. And I trust Joe Burrow more in these big games than I do Josh Allen. But at the end of the day, I think these injuries are just too much for the Bengals to overcome. And they got to play a style of football that they probably don't want to play because with the injuries to the offensive line, I'm not saying the Bills have some prolific pass rush, but you're playing backups on the ends. And look, that's massive. That could absolutely change the way you scheme your offensive game plan to where you have to do short passes. You have to do quick, out routes and quick in the middle. And I think that's just really easy to game plan against if you're a defense as opposed to Burrow's got all day to throw and Jamar Chase can get open. How are we going to cover him? Your play calling and the way you run the offense and the way you call a game just completely changes with a healthy offensive line. With this offensive line and this unit, I just don't trust it enough to pick them. And I think Vegas is kind of telling you, take
Take the
Take
Bengals.
Cincinnati. Take the Bengals. Yeah.
Make
5.5.
us some money.
Yeah. Take them because they went to the Super Bowl, right? They got Joe Burrow, right? Nah. I think this is a classic spot where Vegas gets everyone. I'm not gonna get caught in the cheese. I got caught in the cheese last week with the Bucks. I'm not getting caught in the cheese this week. It is Bills all day. But I don't fault you for sticking with your guy Joe Burrow. And you've been on the Bengals all year long, and it has not really let you down. It did last week.
Yeah,
but
that was a close one.
it
That was
hasn't,
also
for the most part, they're 12-5 against the spread. They haven't let you down for most of the season. So I don't think it's a bad pick. And I don't fault you for it because they have been good all season long. But I think this is just where Vegas gets you.
This is where Vegas gets you, my friend. I'm kidding. But I'll tell you what. I don't know if it's just me. I know the Bengals or the Bills have had the season where they're not what we thought they were going to be. But sometimes I think that coin flip and that overtime, when that happened, that did something to Josh Allen. And I don't think it did it in a positive way. I think that threw him off for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Call me crazy, but I think he got thrown off and he just ain't the same. He's still good, but just something ain't right with him. I think he needs to recollect himself and get back into what he knows for next season. Not saying they don't go all the way. They still can. They have the talent. Not having Von Miller really hurting right now. But, yeah, go Bengals. We'll see what happens.
Against each other in all three. This is
Will
crazy.
we be on against each other on all four? The last game. Oh, gosh, I hate seeing them here, but it is the Cowboys.
It's a classic game right here.
Head to the Bay. Niners minus 3.5. Man, I hate that 3.5. It is disgusting.
You want me to lead off here?
Cowboys have, I think, barely they have more wins against the Niners all time, I think. I think it's barely. I think it's about 2 or 3 games.
You might be right there.
I think. Yeah, you can go ahead.
All right, well, you know how I feel about the Niners. We talked about last week. I picked them to win the Super Bowl. I put money on it. I picked them to win over the Buffalo Bills. I put money on it. So I got the Niners thick and thin here. And I didn't pick them last week because I got a little nervous, got a little scared. They won by 18. The game, like we said in the recap, at least I thought it was closer because, Seattle was winning. Mm-hmm. At the end of the second half, or the end of the first half, they were winning. So, the Niners were able to pull away. And maybe that's just a testament to the way that this team is built, kind of like what we saw from Michigan all season long. It's lean on you, lean on you, lean on you. And then in the late third, fourth quarter, you're just out of gas. That's just the way this team is kind of built right now.
Defense, man.
They just push you physically on offense and defense. But Kyle Shanahan, 6-1 against the spread for last week in the postseason.
Big guy.
This is going to be, in my opinion, Brock Purdy's first start against a real NFL defense. I think he's seen some decent defenses, but the only other
average D.
Yeah, the only other defense that you could probably point to and be like, okay, that's a good defense was the Buccaneers, and they torched them. The Niners absolutely torched them. They destroyed Tampa in that game. I believe it was 35-0 at one point.
Yeah, I think it ended up being 35-13
or
something, maybe
control,
13.
Cruise control.
Oh no, I think it was 35-7.
Just an absolute obliteration. But I look at this game, and the Cowboys, great performance against Tampa Bay last week, but this is not Tampa Bay. San Francisco has a very good offensive line. They have a very good defensive line. That defense has been the best in the NFL this season, and since they added Christian McCaffrey, they've just taken a whole new dynamic, a whole new mantra, if you will. Mm-hmm. Cowboys rush defense on the road, allowing 4.7 yards per carry. On the season, they allow 3.9. That just goes to show you on the road, this isn't the same defense. And I don't know if it's the grass factor or not. I know that was kind of like a myth.
They can't say that anymore
right?
after last week.
Right,
yeah.
but
I know the Bucs played bad, but they can't say that anymore.
Right, but guess who plays on grass?
The Niners.
The Niners. So maybe it wasn't a factor last week. Honestly, I think they could have been playing in Crocs and they would have beat the Buccaneers. My opinion on this game, San Fran leans on CMC. They lean on the defense. And I think Dak, where he was perfect last week, makes a couple mistakes, and
Turnovers, man.
I think the 49ers just get it done. I think this is the Super Bowl team. I have a feeling that it's their year, and I think they just kind of go on this mission where you're not stopping them, no matter what you do. So I'm going to take Niners minus 3.5. I'm not doubting them anymore. They shut me up last week. Even though I picked them to win all, I was like, I'm still going to pick against you. I'm not doubting them. If they lose this game, I will be in tears probably, but I don't think they will. I think they cover, and we'll see you in the NFC Championship game. Let's go Niners minus 3.5.
The battle of the spreads. The Niners have gone 12-6 against the spread this season, while Dallas has gone 11-7. These teams are both 2 of the 7 best cover rates in the NFL since the 2022 season started. Niners are 8-2 at home against the spread this season, and the Cowboys are just 5-4 against the spread on the road. Can the defense slow down the Cowboys? Yeah.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Can Brock Purdy keep up his incredible run, vibe?
That's where I get a little
That's to be
concerned.
determined. I agree.
That
He
is
did.
where I
It
get
was a
concerned.
late start last week. But can Dallas play smart? No turnovers. Play strategic. 34.6. That's how many points the Niners have averaged since the legend of Brock Purdy began back in Week 13.
They've been on fire, but the defenses haven't been great that they've played. So
That's true. But
this
they
is
have
like-
a great defense
they
in
do
their
have a
own.
great defense.
And that's a key. They have a great defense of their own. And everything you could talk about a plug-and-play team, that's the Niners.
Oh,
that's why Brock
100%.
Purdy's still a great quarterback, but everything that he's got is the best you could imagine. Like right in that for a plug-and-play quarterback, you could have so many guys just pop into the system, and it's crazy.
Right.
But that's a huge advantage. And it doesn't matter because it's working. They play smart ball. Same thing. If they don't make mistakes, Niners could roll this game.
I agree. And you know what a difference for me is? Last year when these two teams met, it was Jimmy G. I looked at Jimmy G's numbers. They weren't good. Jimmy G did not play well. You basically got the same Cowboy defense. It is, I think, being at home for the Niners is massive. But I think the difference with Brock Purdy as opposed to Jimmy G, I'm not even going to consider Trey Lance. Brock can move a little bit. He's got wheels. He's able to run, and he can get outside the pocket and extend plays. And Jimmy G, very, very stuck in the pocket. He likes to stay there. He doesn't like to get outside. You can roll him out on a play action, but for the most part, he's going to take his 3-step drop and he's going to, try to find his guy. Brock can move a little bit. He can go a little off script. And that's where I think you're seeing this offense take a new form because I don't think Kyle Shanahan trusted Trey Lance to start. I think it was more so, let's have Trey run the football a little bit more. I don't think he totally opened up the playbook for him yet. And I think with Jimmy G, he kind of shrunk the playbook because Jimmy just doesn't have the same, mobility, doesn't have the same quickness. With Brock Purdy, I think you get the best of both worlds, where he's not as dynamic of an athlete as Trey Lance, but he's a good athlete, and you're also getting a guy that's smart, detail-oriented, and has a good arm and makes good decisions like Jimmy G. And I think that's where you're seeing this offense kind of blossom into this wrecking ball with the addition of Christian McCaffrey, of course, who just has this energy and this aura where
He just takes over the game.
he just takes over the game. Like, he is truly
the most versatile player ever.
maybe just the most important player in the NFL right now.
Wow.
Like,
Big facts.
and it's not, obviously, I'm not saying that to, as a hot take, because obviously Mahomes is more valuable to the Chiefs than anyone could be, and Burrow. But when you're talking about a guy coming in mid-season with the impact that he's had, he's
Throwing,
just like,
passing, catching.
he's doing it all, and it's just like the defense has to focus in solely on him, that it just allows you to do so many other things. He's so important to what the Niners do, and he's so important to their success. They were 3-4 before they got him. They have only lost one game since, and that was his first game against Kansas City. They're on a roll. I expect them to continue rolling all the way until, where are we at? Glendale this year. They're going to be hoisting that Lombardi. I just
It'll be like
see
a home game.
I just see it happening now. Celebrate now. Book your tickets. They're going to win this game. They're going to go into Philly probably and bust some, and then they're going to go into Glendale and absolutely smack. I love the Niners. I'm not down them anymore. They have my full confidence. Brock Purdy against this Cowboys defense, I get concerned. Micah Parsons, it's scary, but you know what? Hit me with it. Hit me with the Brock, baby.
I love it. I'm on Purdy, man. I think the Niners are going to win it all too. I think the only challenge would be heading to Philly. You can overcome that. The fact that it could be the Giants heading to the Bay for the NFC Championship is hilarious, but I wouldn't mind to see it. So would I.
Honestly, call me crazy. I think this game is going to be more difficult for the Niners than Philly will be.
Interesting. Well, it seems like the Niners just got to play the entire NFC East, right?
Basically. It's the Niners versus the NFC East at this point.
It is. That's crazy.
If we get the Dak Prescott from last week, there's a real chance the Niners lose this game. There's a real chance. But if we get the Dak we've been seeing for the majority of the season, I just feel like this is a layup. So we're going to end up finding out what Dak we get, and I think that's ultimately what determines the outcome of this game. But I think we're on the right side of it, and I love that you're with me on this one so we can have one game where we're in it together. I'm happy it's this one.
Trust the man with the plan. Saquon, shades up. Peace up, A-Town.
You want me to run it down?
You can run it down, and then we can add our little zest at the end.
All right, let's do it. So for the divisional round, Jags at Chiefs on Saturday at 4:30. Jaguars, that's my team. Duval, baby, plus 8.5. Justin is on the Chiefs, minus 8.5.
Sucks. Really sucks, but I'm taking it.
In the late hour, Giants at Eagles. Justin is on the Giants, plus 7.5. I am on the Eagles, minus 7.5.
Saquad.
Plus Dallas Goedert over 49.5 receiving yards. That's a fun little prop for y'all. Into Sunday at 3. Interesting time. Bills laying 5.5 against the Bengals. I'm on the Bills minus 5.5 and the under 49.5. Justin is out here with the reigning AFC champs, Joe Burrow, and the Cincinnati Bengals plus 5.5 on the road. And then on Sunday night, Cowboys at Niners. Me and Justin both riding with our Super Bowl pick. Niners minus 3.5. We are on to the divisional round, and what a treat it should be. Now let's get into this little surprise you got.
Here comes the surprise. But first, I got to say, no matter how this weekend goes, we will be sharing a great Sunday night watching the Niners.
That is
in
true.
Support.
That is true.
No matter what, at the end of the day, we got our Niners together.
I could go 0-5, and if that last game is a Niners cover, I'll be happy.
And waking up Monday with a smile. Little throw in for you guys. This is just a fun moment for me and Evan. We grew up big soccer fans. Football, depending on where you're at.
Play together, all about it.
Our teams are playing this week in the Premier League. Saturday morning, my team of Chelsea head to Liverpool to play this man's Reds. The Blues and the Reds. This ain't no Bloods and Crips, but could be England style, UK style.
Well, Liverpool, we haven't really talked much footy on the pod. Not that there's really any reason to, but
just for some fun.
This is truly two of the top flight teams in the Premier League.
Name-wise.
And sometimes the fan bases can be a bit annoying. I know my fan base surely is.
Mine just is clueless right now.
This should be, you got two teams that are struggling. They're both mid of the table. I expect Liverpool to come out guns blazing. They should be absolutely playing with some moxie, some swagger. They need it. They need it. They've been struggling in the Premier League all season long. They need a bounce-back game. It is at Anfield, which, if you guys don't know, is probably the most historic football site in all of England, maybe in all of the world. I expect Liverpool to win this game. You never walk alone. You never walk alone when you're a Red, and I expect my Reds to come out with a victory. I'm sure you're feeling the opposite way.
Of course. I'm more concerned that Chelsea is looking. They need to win. They need to keep winning. Both of these teams need to keep winning. I'm concerned that Liverpool is more concerned about, okay, bounce back. We've been grinding. We got our minds together. We're going to win this game. And Chelsea's more like, hey, we beat Crystal Palace 1-0. We're doing okay. I feel like they're just like they're in an okay mindset. They're not looking to like just flip the script, and they're spending too much money to not be flipping the script right now. But is it the right people? No, probably not. But I don't know. I'm rooting for my boys. I really hope they win this thing, but I don't see more than 3 goals scored in this game. I think it's either truly, I'm hoping for a win, but I think if Chelsea wins, it's 1-0. I think if Liverpool wins, it's either 2-0 or 2-1.
You're probably right. I mean, Liverpool has been giving up like it feels like 4 goals a game, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a little bit more high scoring than you are feeling like it's going to be, just because, to be honest, like it's just this team has been a disaster in the back end all season long. No Virgil van Dijk, he's out for a few more weeks.
That's the killer. That is literally the killer.
So essentially, I just need Anfield to show up. Liverpool is very good at home, but I need them to show up. And their form has been pretty egregious. I wouldn't be surprised if these two teams drew, just the way they've been playing.
I could see that too. That would be unfortunate.
I'm going to hope that Liverpool gets a win. We need the 3 points, but if I'm being honest, I'd probably expect a draw. If you're looking to bet this game, since this is a sports betting podcast, Liverpool, the favorite, -120. That's no surprise. At home, they are a machine for the most part. A draw is +270, and then Chelsea is +310. I would very much consider a draw at +270. I think that's a very juicy number.
Interesting.
I would lean Liverpool to probably win this game just because of the stakes and the desperation factor, but I'm not going to ignore their form either. It has not been good for weeks now. Mainly in the Premier League, but overall just has not been good. So I would say draw is probably where you're going to get the most value, because I don't see Chelsea walking in to Anfield and winning this game, but I think you could definitely see these two teams drawing maybe 1-1. I think that's a fair number, but do what you will with it. We're not going to talk much soccer from here on out, but these are our two teams. I love me some Liverpool football. Justin loves some Chelsea football, and we get these two teams head to head. We got to talk about it.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. 7:30 a.m. kickoff. I don't know if either of us will be watching it.
I'll be asleep, but
I will probably be catching the end because I work. So,
I'll be asleep for like the first
7:30.
Maybe the first half.
Wake up. Catch like 10 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, I'll wake up like 8:30, and then I'll be able to see a little bit of hopefully Liverpool win.
I probably won't catch it until like the last 10 minutes, but we'll see what happens. I do love, after watching them play, what was it, Arsenal or Brighton the other day?
Liverpool?
Yeah.
Their last Premier League game was against Brighton.
Okay. One guy I was a fan of, I was just impressed the way he was playing on Liverpool. Trent Alexander-Arnold. That man has so much finesse.
Trent has been an unreal player for about 5 years now. Young, grew up in Liverpool. He's a Red through and through. I love Trent. He got disrespected by Gareth Southgate in the World Cup. He is English, so he was on the England national team. Got disrespected by Gareth Southgate. Didn't play once. He's been very positive. I've seen some more positive play from the other guys, but overall the defense, which Trent is a right back, but he's more of an offensive creator. I'm getting geeked out right now with my Reds here, but it's just not been good. The defense has been poor. The midfield play has been poor. it's been very difficult to get the attack involved when you have guys that are fully capable. They just gotta play better. Maybe change the shape a little bit, get into a better form, tweak with the lineup. We'll see it play out. Hopefully it starts this weekend because we're about halfway through the Premier League season and the Reds are on the outside looking in. They need to really pick up the pace going with about half games left.
We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I just want to shout that man out. I was just impressed when I was watching him because I don't think I've watched a Liverpool game in a long time. So that was just cool seeing him because I was just like, this guy is just putting all these perfect balls in and nothing's happening. So they just got to finish. They got to finish. The man's getting it there. Just got to finish. But hope you guys enjoyed another episode of Squeeze the Juice. Another playoff weekend. Enjoy some Premier League if you got time Saturday morning. I know most of you will be sleeping probably. Can't. There's other games on. Not our game. You'll probably be sleeping for our game, but we'll see what happens. I'm ready for another week. I'm ready for a positive week, but we'll see what happens considering we're only together on one this week.
Hey, you can't complain going 500.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
cannot
not.
complain. You get through the week, and sometimes that's all you can ask for. I was just trying, to be honest, to just find a way to kind of play a little cheeky last week, and I don't know why. I didn't need to. I got a little too in my head, a little too aggressive. I played games. I was like, maybe I could get this, maybe I could get that. No. I'm sticking to what I know, and this is what I know. Hopefully, we both end up positive this week. You know, maybe I hit my props, you hit your games. I don't know. But I'm going to be rooting for you just like I'm rooting for me. I want to see you thrive just like I want to see myself thrive.
I think about that all the time.
So hopefully we get a good week. I'm hoping that these games are at the least bit entertaining, at the least bit exciting.
It will be a good week. It will be. As we close out, check out all the socials. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. If you're watching, subscribe, like, comment. Let us know your picks. Tell us what you got. Let us know who you think is winning the Super Bowl. If you don't think the Niners, get out of here.
Yeah, tell me why it's not the Niners, because I'm going to tell you why you're wrong.
Evan will be up in those comments if you're leaving them. So let us know. Let us know. Be involved. Hopefully you guys have a good week of picks. We're staying up. We may have had some rough times, even times, but we're still staying up, still positive. Keep it rolling. Another week. Season's almost over.
It's sad, man.
It is. If football season's coming to an end, it's sad. I don't want to see it go, but great things in store for the rest of this year and a great season approaching for us next year.
That's facts. That is facts. And like Justin said, comment at us, like, subscribe, whatever you can do it. We appreciate it. We love you for it. Review,
subscribe.
Whatever you can do. Whatever you can do to
subscribe.
Boost our ratings or boost our show. We appreciate it. We're having fun doing it. I mean, look, there's proof in the pudding here. It's not like we're giving you bad picks.
Pudding.
We're giving you the goods.
Goods.
And we should be able to continue to give you the goods. So that's what we're going to do. No fear. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. That's the motto this weekend. Shout out Friday Night Lights. Let's have a weekend, my friend. Let's do it, man.
All right, y'all. We will see you next time. Peace.